You are checking after the yes with Sarah Jane. Well, hello. Hi, guys. So, my name is Sarah Jane. Most people call me SJ for short. So, what am I doing here? Hold on. I am definitely a Shamps girl. You will see that often. Okay. SJ. Most people call me SJ. Sarah Jane. That's my birth name. That's the name my mama likes. Welcome to After the Yes. What is After the Yes? I am doing a ting. I got Caribbean in me, so I like to say ting. And what is After the Yes? So let me start with the basics. I am a wedding planner. I'm a wedding planner and event planner, and I've been doing such for over 15 years. I know I look like I'm 10, right? So I am dating myself, but I have been in this amazing, incredible business for a hot minute. And I've been incredibly blessed with all the amazing couples and projects I've been able to work on and all the beautiful places that it has taken me. Um, this wasn't planned. Honestly, 15 years ago, I barely even knew that it had an official title. The goal was to be an attorney, corporate law. I wanted to move to LA and work for like Nike or Coke. I had it all planned out. And so I thought, that saying, it's like, there's your plan and God's plan, and watch him laugh at you trying to do like your plan. So it was definitely one of those things. But planning weddings, helping somebody plan their wedding, and then boom, wow, this is amazing. Oh, it was my pleasure to help. Do you need some help? And then I found myself helping other people just for fun, not for any monetary purpose. The fulfillment that I got out of doing it was just um, beyond. And so I was like, this is really something that I can't ignore. And so, despite all the time invested in school, in undergrad and grad, I had to follow what my gut was telling me and where I found fulfillment. And here we are, many years later, and I don't regret a single thing. And so, I'm becoming one of those people that you guys talk about, like on the socials. That's I think because there's so many incredible podcasts out there. I see these memes and comments about just because you can do a podcast doesn't mean you should. And so here I am doing it. I'm going to do it anyway. But I really think that there's a purpose for this, and couples and people just curious about the world of weddings and all the stuff in between will find very intriguing, very interesting, and want to tap in. So how did I get here to doing this and having this mic in front of me? I was invited onto a podcast and I put it off, I don't know, a couple of months. And a very good friend, Chuck, who's actually helping me with this after stalling as long as I could. We had really great, insightful conversations, and he asked me questions that I haven't had to answer. But in asking those questions, I just realized, God, like, gosh, you've been doing this for some time and so many experiences that I really don't get to share on a day-to-day basis with couples, and how many stories I have. And I don't think that a lot of people realize how many logistics and strategical things are involved in planning weddings. And I did recall in having this podcast with Chuck of how many times I talked to couples that they started out thinking that they could do this, and there's great online tools that can lead them, in the right direction, but they still felt like overwhelmed and we're zoning out because of all the checklists and having to make phone calls and emails, and it was way bigger than what they thought it was going to be, and embarking on that journey. And so that's where after the yes comes from, because what do? You find like the one, that special person, and God willing, like everything aligns just right, and you have an incredible proposal, and they say yes. And so it's amazing, and everyone's on cloud nines, and you're floating on air, and then you spend days or weeks or months, you're posing, with the ring, and you're just doing this and this, and you're in the mirror, and you're snapping as much of this as you can, because it's all so exciting, and you just want to see the bling as much as you can. And then at some point you go, all right, babe, like, what are we doing? Where do we go from here? And then there's this gargantuan thing to partake. And when I say gargantuan, it doesn't mean that the wedding itself has to be gargantuan, but taking on the task of how do we go about this, and what direction are we going with this? And there's so many elements to take into account. So what happens after the yes? And here we are. Here we are, right? Isn't that a great title? After the yes. Where do we go from here? So the B word, budget, really is like the top thing to discuss. As many consultations as I've had, when I go, okay, so what's your budget? Listen, that's literally the first conversation to have. So, there's the budget, micro wedding, eloping, destination wedding. We know 400 or 500 people, babe. How are we going to downsize that to 150 people? What are the ways to maximize our budget? How do we take our family into account? What do we want? Did we envision a hotel wedding, a barn wedding, so an outdoor wedding, an indoor wedding, a tented wedding, a backyard wedding. So there's so many things to take into account. So after the yes, where do we go from here? And so because there's so many caveats to it, where do we talk about it? Because even if you have a sibling or a cousin that's been there, everybody has an opinion, and everybody's process is different. And sometimes even soliciting advice is overwhelming, and sometimes friends and family get offended if you don't take the advice that they gave you. So maybe reaching out to that person is not the direction that you want to go. So here I am. It's a safe space. It's going to be a fun space. I'm going to open this up to emails, write-ins, phone calls, but I have so many stories. So yes, couples have strong discussions about the budget. They have disagreements about how many family members can parents invite, or friends. Have there ever been issues with divorced parents that are remarried at the wedding or reception? Yeah, I've even had, not good family chemistry where a parent is not invited, and they're saying, hey, if you see my mom here, no. And if you need backup, my brother's willing to help her not come in. Like those things definitely happen. So yes, it's like, oh my gosh, have you seen a fight, like an actual fist fight brawl? Yeah. So, one thing I've learned is, despite I've done this for all this time, I no longer say I've seen it all, because I used to say that a few years ago. I haven't anymore. I'm going to stop saying that, because I keep being surprised, for sure. Bridal parties. I think the largest I've seen is about 40, like 20 plus on each side. Like, yeah. So anyways, how do we figure this out? How do we go about this? How do we still have fun? I don't like hearing couples go, I just want to get this over with. And they sound like stress. I like to have a good time. I hope you catch that. Now, I don't play about my couples because we only get one shot to do this right. OCD about the details. You don't spend all this time and resources to have like this vision and have it not happen. But we're going to have a good time along the way, and we're going to make sure you celebrate every single second on your wedding day. But in the journey, we're going to laugh about it. We're going to talk it out. We're going to figure it out. But, people can share what they've been through and how to figure, things out. And that's what I'm here for. And other people can say, hey, this is what, worked for me. How do you decide a band or a DJ? Is it proper etiquette to get hair and makeup for your entire bridal party, or should they pay for it? Those are things that come up all the time. Okay. So number one rule is be prepared to have a good time. Number two rule is really there are no rules. Whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about it. Let's put it all out on the table because there's so many different aspects to weddings and planning and caveats to it that we will not run out of topics. And I have stories, like I said, 15 years, over 500, so many to talk about. And destination weddings, booming, huge. And that's something I get called about a lot. I think one of the big things is, for the most part, it is helping couples save money, but also couples want to tap into their friends and family longer than the 5.5 hour block that they're getting from venues. And destination weddings are usually over a weekend, 2 or 3 days. And so you're getting longer to enjoy with your friends and family. So there's so many nuances depending on where do you want to do it and that kind of thing. What other things to take into account that you don't have to think about when you're getting married, say 20 or 30 minutes away from home. So etiquette, save the dates, invites, color palette. How do you personalize it? Do you have to do, favors? You name it, I got it. So I need you guys. I got the champs. I will bring it, but bring your own champs, cocktail, sparkling water, whatever your flavor is. We're going to start this journey together, and you're going to be happy that I tuned out that noise about there's enough podcasts out there, and you're going to be so happy that After the Yes is a fun place for us to discuss this wacky, beautiful, wonderful world of weddings. So thank you so much for allowing me to introduce myself, SJ, and cheers to you, cheers to us, and welcome to After the Yes.